In some ways, they might have given us another Slowbro here, but let's give it some credit. Blastoise has some differences, but still kind of funny to have a water-type defender from the old days, but also has Surf, of course, and so we'll see if that makes Blastoise like Slowbro or unique in its own right, of course, because its Surf is different. You know, all the characters with Surf, they at least interact a little bit differently each time. And so the obvious probably doesn't need to be stated, starting out with Squirtle. We're going to go ahead with Water Gun first. You know, it's kind of iffy. You know, Water Gun, the main thing about it is when you're doing this early farm is that Water Gun is going to push back whatever your target is, you know. So when you blast Water Gun, look at this, that Apom, it gets pushed a certain distance. And so the only case, I guess, where you wouldn't want to do that maybe in this early game right here is right here. When you're trying to get that Corphish, you may actually blast it closer to the other team. Now, of course, this Snorlax and this Chansey right there, they did sort of beat us to it. You know, the very large Pokemon that you would think move slowly. No, they beat us to it. So anyway, I did go out with the Skull Bash. You know, that was sort of the, I would say, better move if you're going to try to charge move to farm that Corphish in the top lane and take it from them early on. And just gotta say, Skull Bash can actually act as a good retreating option, you know, so you could use it as a retreating move. You could also use it, though, as a move to be aggressive and move yourself forward to then, of course, launch your offensive. And so Water Gun can be used in very similar ways. Now, you just saw it right here. My Scorbunny ally was being attacked. Wasn't looking great, and so we can actually Water Gun the opponents off of our allies, and so that worked out pretty well right there. And again, I'm still obviously new to this. This is my first time. I never played the beta that had Squirtle in it or anything like that, and so I just, you know, want to specify this is my absolute first time playing as Squirtle right here in this recording. Now, I will say, of course, as we do this commentary, I've actually played a game since then, so there was one after that where I just tried the other movesets that I didn't use. So you'll see me, of course, pick two movesets through our tech trees and evolution and all that, and I did actually play one other match just so I could have that experience and know, like, hey, are these moves better? I don't know. So anyway, we're doing things mostly okay, but I mean, it's really been a little bit neck and neck against this Snorlax and against the Chansey, of course, that are on the top lane, being the opposition to us right now. We'll go ahead, grab the Citrus right here, and then try to get back into the fray, help our ally out. Looks like Blissey going to be getting in our faces right here. And so one thing interesting about Water Gun also is that obviously you're not going to push them when there's a wall, so you could Water Gun them into the wall, you know, and then kind of have them pinned down. And so that was sort of an interesting opportunity. Obviously, Blissey going to be a lot more bulky than it can take just for a Water Gun and a few basics to, you know, take it down. So obviously I wasn't going to try to pursue that or anything this early on in the game. Much more important that I just get farm, get myself leveled up, and so just like this. So I have used Water Spout one time. Now this game I actually did use Hydro Pump. You can almost consider that like an upgraded Water Gun, really. I mean, Hydro Pump is going to push him back a little bit, has a small effect to it, but really it's just about doing that like kind of burst damage in that one line of fire. And so I actually kind of liked Water Spout a little bit better. It's sort of interesting because I thought maybe I wouldn't, but at the same time I come from kind of a support player's mindset oftentimes, and so Water Spout would be a little bit more supporty just because it is going to have that slowing effect on whoever you use it on. And so it's also interesting because you can use it not really in a line path in front of you, you actually target a position on the map. And so for me, Water Spout actually was sort of my tastes, but I actually could see this going either way. You know, I could see people using Hydro Pump as well, of course, for that damage, maybe for a little bit of that push. And so I'm in a little bit of trouble here, but you can see right now Skull Bash being used as a retreating option right there. It did work very well. I mean, you can also just damage anybody that's in that pathway. I'm going to try to pursue a little bit instead of trying to heal myself or anything too much, because we are able to take out that other War Turtle right now, as we are a War Turtle, and that was very good because I think they were just a little bit extending it too far and everything. So I'm going to go with Surf this round. Of course, you have Rapid Spin as your other choice. Rapid Spin, a little bit more of a buff type attack, you know, so it's going to change the way that your War Turtle at this point operates. And of course, Blastoise for the future. Did want to get that farm right here since, well, we had already started it. I am going to need a few more levels. You know, I'm not severely under-leveled or anything like that. I just kind of want to be competing with my team right here. We're all sort of in that level 7, 8 range, of course. And so it's quite the battle for the Dreadnought, I'm going to tell you. And this is one thing that I found out, and this is kind of the joys, I guess, of being able to record after the fact. I have the obvious hindsight, but this is something that you guys may catch yourself into, is that you're going to go with Surf. Unlike, say, Slowbro, for example, look at that right there. I did it again. It's like after I just thought maybe there was something that I did wrong, but yes, what I did wrong actually was your Surf is not going to go through the wall in any capacity. So the water is not going to. You obviously are not. You know, Slowbro gets stopped by the wall, and that's sometimes an opportunity where you can use with Slowbro when you have Surf. You can actually send your Surf the water just by itself across the wall and it goes through, whereas you'll stay still. Maybe you don't want to follow your surf all the way if you're Slowbro. You know, there are some instances where that might be the case. You can use it to your advantage, right? Well, with Wartortle, it's not going to go that same way with your Blastoise Wartortle character here. And so again, this is just sort of a knockdown, drag-out fight, man, trying to get this Dreadnought. It's like either team is having some trouble, but look at that. You can see what Surf can do right here. Definitely, if you want that knockback, if you want to push people out, that's one thing as a defender, you know, Wartortle, Blastoise, you're definitely going to have those options. So Surf is really good. Look at just how far that travels. And so you could theoretically push somebody all the way back. You know, if they're trying to make an advance on your goal, especially maybe at that end game, haven't really tried it in this case, but I'm just thinking of different applications for it. Well, maybe when the Zapdos, you know, if the other team has Zapdos or something and you're really just trying to get them out of your goal areas, sometimes you're just screwed, of course, when the other team has Zapdos, but if you can stave them off, a Surf, I could see that sort of being a spicy way to keep them back and keep them off of your goal areas, basically. So anyway, we'll go ahead and launch to the top. We need to see if we can maybe get this Rotom right now because they obviously got the Dreadnought. Our bottom lane not doing so well, but I do see that Snorlax is going to meet me up here, and so look at that. I am able to kind of prevent Snorlax a little bit from its plan. Now it's still going to obviously hide in the grass. He's got a score shield, so he's thinking like, yeah, I'm going to score this big 40, but of course, I'm right there making him, making sure that he'll stop that XL from getting into our goal here, so that's okay. Very good. Had to use, though, pretty much pull out all the stops, right, because that Snorlax's score shield definitely held on right here, so I am very wary of what I'm doing. You know, I'm hoping that somebody is going to assist me, but just in case they don't, I need to be very careful about this Rotom. So I'll keep on kind of hitting it with just as much damage as I can, but obviously just trying to keep an eye out for that Snorlax until, of course, my Cinderace ally does come through right here. I knew that Snorlax was hiding out. I was just wondering, would I be able to hit him? And yes, he was in that grass, so we used a Surf to try to push him back. Unfortunately, that Snorlax is going to retreat, but then come back with help. So you can see, of course, your Surf is not going to help when that Machamp is unstoppable right there, just completely wrecking faces. And so, yeah, they're obviously going to have the numbers over us, man, and so that was very bad. They took the Rotom from us, and look at that. They've got everybody in that top lane, I guess except for just one on their orange squad, and that was actually a complete mistake. I had totally been pressing the button. I was like super jump, super jump, super jump, and a little bit fast acting, I guess. I ended up moving straight up off the platform thinking I, you know, had already hit it and everything. I was just trying to kind of go too fast for my own brain, right? And so at this point, unfortunately, I am under-leveled, having spent all that time on the Rotom, so it's kind of a really bad move. You know, I really probably could have just waited for the numbers, I think, you know, would have been the better choice. At least wait for my Cinderace. Now, we obviously did not foresee that they were going to send, you know, all four of those squad mates that were up there from the orange team up to that Rotom to come and hit it. And so we're once again in this crazy fight for the Dreadnought, but I'm going to go ahead and use my Unite for the first time in this matchup, and very good at clearing out that AoE, man. If you've got people all around you, you've got 360 degrees of vision, just boom, that's going to be the Hydro Typhoon, man. It's crazy. It's going to throw opponents all in that area of effect around you, and so it's pretty nice. It does a lot of damage. Pretty good. So I'm going to definitely give it a thumbs up here for Blastoise and our Unite move. So what's going on here is Zapdos has come onto the map. Obviously, you guys can see that. My thought is that, yes, I need to help out with the Zapdos, but I haven't scored all game, and this is sort of one way, of course, if you have a lot of faith in your allies, I guess you can do this, but I'm going to try to just sneak a goal past here, and I do get it, and of course, because we are in the late game, very late game, we should say, those 25, that was worth it because it was a 50, not just 25, and so maybe you wouldn't have as much impact if that was just 25, and I can still come into the fray. Now, one thing that might have done is it could have costed my allies, you know, let's say I could have helped them. Well, we had about 3 of our allies who had fainted right there. It's tough to say, you know, would I have helped out a whole lot or not, you know, and certainly I could have helped. It's just, would I have actually made a difference? That's the main question, right? And so I was able to do one thing here that Blastoise is probably really great at, which is, again, with that Surf, I pushed everybody out of the fray with Zapdos. So that was kind of time that obviously the other team would have wanted to be on top of Zapdos, wanted to be maybe hitting my allies, being in the fray right there. You can see that Lucario in the top right on the mini-map is doing the same thing that I was doing. Obviously going to have 50 though, and so they're going to get 100 total. And this is absolutely horrible. Again, that surf just ruining me. To hit it against a wall is just completely useless. And so you guys, I actually that time thought, you know, it wasn't ignorance. I thought I was below the wall when I was using it because I was pressing down, and it's just in that flurry of pressing buttons and everything. Sometimes, like I said before earlier on in this matchup, dude, my mind is just moving maybe a little bit faster than my body was right there because I was holding down just to move down literally away from that wall and then do surf, and I was trying to do it at the last second, like that exact second I thought that could help me. And so here, you know, we've got that countdown. Pretty much that's all she wrote, you could say. There, you know, we did have a team wipe there at the end, but unfortunately that Zeraora with a 50 couldn't drop it in. But look at this, you guys, absolutely nuts. 364 to 363 right there. We are going to take the victory by 1 mere point. And so again, you can argue different gameplay styles all day, but if you get that win, man, that is a win. And so you can see as we review the battle, I think that probably was the better choice for me, was to actually go and do that goal. Every single goal in this game mattered way more than most games where you win, you know, by a large margin or even win by like 150 points or something. So this was absolutely incredible, you guys. Even match teams, I would say. The ranking is Vet 5, and I'd say for me, a good summary could be Blastoise, like most characters, definitely can be dangerous once you found the moveset that you like. I'll need a little bit more time just to know the character back and front, but I could see this defender, Blastoise, as a force to be reckoned with. Thanks for viewing.